Hello, YouTube. Now, these episodes aren't that bad, but they're not really anything that great either. So, let's just start off with the first one. So, we got the episode Freeze Day, which is about Marco arriving late to school, or well, he's about to. Well, not really to school. He's only going there for one reason: to nod at someone. But you've never done that? So basically, he's had this whole entire plan as to how to start dating Jackie Lynn Thomas, which if you watch some of the episodes then you know that's someone that he's got a crush on. And he's basically had this Dipper style plan as to how to talk to her and how to approach her and how to eventually go on dates with her and stuff. So, although unlike Dipper, he's actually on step 4 out of like his 40 something steps. Roy Dipper had like 12. God. He like planned every single moment? Jesus. And when he's starting to arrive late, then of course he's freaking out about it because he didn't want to arrive late because they've been doing this for years now. So Star says, I'll just freeze time. And she just freezes time, even though we saw in the episode Matchmaker that she apparently has a teleporting spell. No, what she wanted to do here was freeze time instead of just teleporting him right to that exact area. I don't know. So, now all time is frozen, and instead of doing what they were going to do, they say, hey, why don't we just spend some time just like hanging out, but messing around because we froze time, we can do whatever we want. Why don't we just try and have some fun with this for a bit? And apparently they have 60 hours of it, thus said by Marco. And then they say, hey, wait a minute, yeah, we gotta return to time again. Okay, well, can you unfreeze everything? And now nothing's unfreezing. So they decide, well, why not just visit Father Time, see what's going on. And actually kind of a good character comes in. I just want to point out, I love this guy's voice. I don't know why. There's just something really cool about this guy's voice. And Father Time is seen actually having a little bit of a different persona than we usually see him as. Like, usually you would see Father Time as like this wise old man because, well, he'd be old because, I mean, he's taking care of all eternity, so kind of would age you a bit. And also he'd be wise because he's seen all this time going by, so he would know everything. So that's sort of the typical way of knowing him. But here it's a little bit different because the way that we see him is he's not like that at all. He's actually just like a little kid here. And the reason for that is because he basically has to spin around this giant gear for forever, and he just does that every single day. He has to do this all the time because if he doesn't, then time will stop. So this guy never got a break. He never got to learn anything. In fact, everything about history is in a different room. And actually kind of a cool way of looking at it. Like, it's all on TV screens. That's kind of cool. It has this giant eye that comes out that when they'll look at someone, they'll be like, okay, here's your whole entire life flashing before your eyes. That's kind of cool. But basically, he hasn't seen anything about that. So all he's known is that he's been looking at this gear for his whole life. And he's never once gotten a break, and now time has been frozen. He wants to enjoy this. He wants to take advantage of it. But then they're saying, no, you gotta go back because, well, your Father Time, hello, time's gonna stop forever. Everyone's gonna die, we need you back. And he keeps on saying, no, I'm not going back, I'm not gonna go. So, eventually they had to chase him down. They go through the River of Time, which is actually kind of cool. They go into that area with all of history, and Marco then sees how he's been standing around and nodding his whole life, like ever since he was in kindergarten. I guess he's always been on step 4 of that plan, I don't know, but he's always been on that one little step in this plan, and then he says, okay, when we go back, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna turn this around. I'm gonna be a little bit different. Eventually they do get Father Time back on the wheel, and except now it's being driven by hamsters, and it's like a giant car. Even though they could just put the hamsters on top of the wheel. They even reference how that was something that they could do, but nope. I guess Star just said no. They don't want to do that either. So let's let them just drive around this big heavy wheel, because that'd be much more entertaining. So basically they just go around, and now Father Time is happy, and then eventually in the end Marco starts talking to Jackie and Thomas. Now, the idea they got here is actually a kind of fun one. Like, they do poke around with, like, okay, how would Father Time act here? How would he act if he was always doing this, if he was always doing this his whole life, and he never got to see anything happening in time, he never got to see what was going on, so he would have, like, the mindset of, like, a 5-year-old. Like, he would get distracted incredibly easily. And that's kind of what they do with this, and it's actually kind of enjoyable. Like, you don't really want to see him go back onto this wheel forever, because he's a nice guy, and you don't really want to see him be just stuck on this big wheel, having to push this thing around so long forever. And then in the end, you're kind of happy. He's like, yeah, okay, well, now he's happy, until he goes back in the mud with all the hamsters and time is frozen forever. Blame it on Star. So that's basically what happens there. Not much is really accomplished. Marco's kind of enjoyable in this one, and Star can be funny at times, but not much is accomplished. I would just say, if you want to see Father Time represented in a new way, then go watch this episode, because he's in a completely different manner than how he normally is. So now on to the next episode, called Royal Pain. Okay, so in this one, the King of Mooney, also known as Star's dad, is kicked out of the castle because he's being a little bit too annoying for the queen, basically. He's, like, throwing his clothes everywhere, he's just being very obnoxious, keeping her up all night. She's had enough of it, she's like, nope, get out here, you're too annoying. And so now he's going to stay with Star for a bit, even though really the queen would technically need a king to rule beside her. But hey, I guess whatever works for her. So basically, he's staying with Star for a bit until he finds a place to stay, because, well, he's been kicked out. And Star looks at this as like, oh man, it's gonna be really fun. My dad's here, we're gonna have a great time, because my dad's so much more like me. He likes to fight monsters. It's gonna be a great time. And her dad is like her, incredibly so, and except with a more annoying voice. Yeah, I don't know why. Just his voice sounds so weird. It's like he's gargling marbles. It's just like, just watch the Dark Knight How It Should Have Ended video. Then that's basically how I feel about his voice. Or one of those Batman movies, How It Should Have Ended video. So basically now Star's getting very annoyed by him, because, well, he's like her, really. That's the main reason. It's because he is like her, and she can't really handle having another person just like her in the house. So what she's doing is saying, okay, no, well, he's gonna be gone in a day, he's gonna be gone really soon, we're not gonna have to worry about this anymore. And Marco's just saying, yeah, I know the feeling about this. And he's also dealing with the biggest problem ever. Wet socks. Yeah, that's his story arc in this one. He gets annoyed by socks. He gets annoyed when his socks get wet, even though he's just staying in the house. Does he really need to wear socks? And there's even one moment where he's like, okay, what's on the itinerary for the day? And yet, he's still walking around the socks without the shoes. Why not just put on her shoes? I don't get that. And basically then the dad says, "Oh, hey, guess what, Star? I'm gonna stay here." And then she's just like, "No, please, okay, great, yeah, don't, please get out here right now." And then he throws this big party with all these different kings of the nation, of all these different dimensions, and they all come and hang over, and Star realizes, okay, no, this has gotta stop now, this is getting too annoying. Eventually Helios comes in, who's basically the sun, and he's really annoying, he keeps on eating everything, I don't know why he's so important. Then he just says, "Oh yeah, well, I'm out of things to eat. Might as well just eat the earth. That'll work." And then eventually Star stops him with water because she thought, hey, what socks? Water, the sun, fire and water. Maybe those don't work together. I don't know why it took her so long to realize that, but yeah, it took her a while. And so eventually she just creates this water slide that they had in the opening, and she says, "Okay, Marco, I'm gonna be less annoying. I'm gonna tell you about this stuff when I do it." And then he says, "No, it's fine to go every once in a while." Her dad leaves, possibly going back to the castle, or just being left alone on the streets or something, and just becoming a hobo or something. I don't know. That could possibly happen. I mean, he could just be left on the streets now, just like sitting out there waiting for something to happen. Like, no, that's something that could happen to him. That's completely plausible. And then the episode just wraps up there. Now, one of the really good things that they have in this episode is, for one, how they play mini golf. It has a really funny scene. But there's also how Star feels about her dad. Like, she really enjoys her dad more than her mom because her mom's like all uptight, and surprisingly we haven't seen really anything with her and her mom yet. I think that we need to see that one day. Like, maybe the mom just comes over to visit or something, and then we just sort of see how they react to one another. Maybe that could be kind of neat because, like, the mom seems to be very uptight and dignified, and Star. So basically, she gets along more with her dad, and that's sort of an interesting dynamic to see on this because they really do seem to get along like father and daughter would. Like, actually, no, like me and my dad sort of get along like that. But there are some moments where she just like, no, okay, this has gone too far, this is getting too annoying. But yeah, again, I can speak from personal experience that I know how that feels. But they do still love each other at the end of the day, so it's kind of fun. It's kind of a nice little episode to watch. Like, it seems more like a Father's Day episode, like sort of how she hangs out with her dad and stuff. So it's a nice episode, not really that bad. But I do want to make a little announcement here that I am going to be going away for a week on August 2nd. Gonna be gone for like a weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to get a review or a vlog out that week, and sadly, because there's a new Gravity Falls and a new Wander Over Yonder, two things I've been wanting to talk about, two things I've been waiting to see again, and now that they are coming back on, I'm just like, God, I have to be out. But I'm gonna be able to watch it on my phone because I got Watch Disney XD on there just for that. So I can watch it then, and I'll make a vlog about that as soon as I get back. I don't really think I'll have a review planned for that week, so just like a little heads up. So that's just like something that I want to let you guys know about. Okay, episodes, not really that bad. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.